Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanan Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadhalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Narayanam Gurum Vande Saranyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanubhishtam Purnam Radhadasyam Pradayakam Rupanuga Charya Varyambu Rupamanjari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismera Hasar Murali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshava Sacham Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramu Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradattama Shri Guru Pada Padma Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev. And to my most worshipable Shiksha and Sannyasa Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And to all Shri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, to all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. So this title is about 3 questions raised by one scholar known as Sri B.N. Shukla Sahitya Bhushan Mahodaya. He asked to Srila Gurudev, what is the meaning of Rupanuga dhara? What is the meaning of Srila? And what is Gaudiya Vedanta? Some basic but very nice understanding for us to polish our conception about this about the Siddhanta of our Gaudiya Siddhanta. So first question comes, what is the Sri Rupanuga dhara? Dhara means the current or the lineage of conceptions of the followers of Sri Rupa Goswami. So Srila Gurudeva, he answers, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself Brajendra Nandana Shri Krishna, the son of the king of Braj. Although Shri Krishna is the Vishai or object of prema, he donned the mood and bodily complexion of Srimati Radha and adventured in this world in order to taste for himself Unnato Jala Prema Ras, the refulgent quintessence of the mellows of the divine love that is relished only by the ashray of that prema, and to deliver to the world for the first time a taste of those moods. In other words, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and he's relishing the moods of Radha, in the way she is relishing Krishna's beauty, Krishna's sweetness, and Krishna's love. At the same time, also the moods of separation of Srimati Radhika. And he's also allowing the whole world to access this type of situation or feelings that Krishna is having, Radharani is having, and allowing us to enter in this very special realm. So, in this manifestation as Sri Gaura, he personally relished Unnatto Jala Prema Ras, which constitutes the moods of Sri Radha, and then imparted instructions to his dear associate Sri Rupa Goswami on the step-by-step process of relishing the transcendent essence of that Prema Ras. Furthermore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imbued Sri Rupa Goswami with his potency. Now comes a very interesting question. What really Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Srila Rupa Goswami Pad? Investing him with potency means what? We can understand that actually Rupa Goswami Pad, he is in the spiritual world Rupa Manjari. Rupa Manjari is the most intimate maidservant of Srimati Radhika. She knows everything Sri Radhika knows. She feels everything Sri Radhika feels. So what Mahaprabhu has to invest? What Krishna has to invest in Rupa Goswami that he's not having? Because he's having everything, even more than Krishna. He's having more understanding about Radha than Krishna himself. So what actually Mahaprabhu or Krishna gave to Srila Rupa Goswami? That answer is called Dhairya Dharan Shakti. Dhairya Dharan Shakti means the power of holding patience. The power of holding patience. Why? Because everything else Rupa Goswami had, but he did not have what? The proper patience to be able to hold all that ecstatic symptoms and all that desire to be with Radhika, and for the purpose of staying in this world and preaching and distributing this Manjari Bhav. Okay, I'm going to write here in the chat so then you can understand, okay? Okay, that is there. Dhairya Dharan Shakti. Just one age extra in Dharan. Okay, I'm just going to write again. It was some mistake in typing. Okay. Dhairya Dharan Shakti is the power of holding patience. Patience to be able to give it to everyone in a proper time, in a proper moment, and be himself not caught up in transcendental ecstasy when he is when he is speaking about it, when he is distributing that. You can remember about Shukadeva Goswami Pad. Why Shukadeva not mentioning the name of Radha in Srimad Bhagavatam, for example? He would go into 6 months ecstatic symptoms. Can you imagine if Rupa Goswami would do the same? And how is it possible to preach? Never possible. So Shukadeva Goswami, he was not having Dhairya Dharan Shakti. Understand? So therefore, he cannot give that. He is just speaking and describing. Means in a very indirect way. general pastimes of Parakiya Madhura Ras like that. But he's not able to manifest the name of Radha, then how he can speak about her specialities, her deep moods? Like Rupa Goswami, he wrote whole Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjala Nilamani, and so many other books in which he has to speak directly and in details about who is Radha to inspire us. So that is actually what he was invested. Apart from that, he had everything. He had everything. Mahabhav, everything he had. So what Krishna could give him. Okay, so let us continue then. Thus empowered by Sriman Mahaprabhu and edified by his teachings, Srila Rupa Goswami, concerned for the welfare of the world and wanting its inhabitants to dive into the ocean that is the nectar of devotion and find the brilliant sapphire there, wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjala Nilamani, Dhankeli Komudi, Hamsadut, Uddhava Samdesh, Vidagdha Madhav, Lalit Madhav, Padyavali, Stavamala, and numerous other books, thereby ushering into the world a current of nectarian devotion, which brims with supreme wonder and which is ever fresh, each portion being perfect and complete in itself. So therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad is called the Mahakavi, means the greatest poet. His poetry is unparalleled. None of the other, Vaishnava poets can be compared to Rupa Goswami Pad. I'm not sure if you have the opportunity to take a look into the techniques he used for his poetries. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. Such amazing techniques and, literary, alankars. Like Sanskrit allows very sophisticated type of metric interpolations and rules for poetry and metric and rhymes and many things like that. It's a very, very wonderful thing. I was attending Srila Rupa Goswami's conference in Vrindavan for many years, and in the English part, also of course in the Hindi one, but in the English part, many times we had one devotee there who did a very deep research on Rupa Goswami's poetries in the technical aspect, and he used to make like a PowerPoint presentation about that and showing all the different techniques he used and all the different nice things. It's amazing. How can you put the best knowledge in the best way, in the most beautiful? It's like perfection in itself, So it's coming from transcendental world. It's not, of course, from this world. No any mundane person can do like that. This is the perfect, I would say even the most perfect aspect of knowledge and expression of knowledge. So that current is still flowing today, uninterrupted, through Srila Raghunatha Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Krishna Das Kabiraja Goswami, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, and Srila Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Goswami. In the present era, this line of thought is also referred to as the Sri Bhakti Vinoda Dhara, and is the purest tradition for worshipping the divine couple, Sri Radha Krishna. The line of thought of Srila Rupa's followers entails wholeheartedly adopting the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, who is the crown jewel of Rasikas and the personal companion of Bhagavan, as well as the standards of conduct he personally observed, the philosophical nuances he outlined, and the sequential processes of bhajan. For those faithful individuals who want to relish Krishna Prem as practiced and preached by Sriman Mahaprabhu, it is extremely necessary to be in the guidance of Srila Rupa Goswami. Without the guidance of Srila Rupa, it is utterly impossible to taste the essence of Unnatu Jalaras. There is no other path to that goal. Of course, here Srila Gurudeva, he was even somehow like superficial, because this is written for those who are completely ignorant. So Gurudev used the expression, he is the personal companion of Bhagavan. Personal companion of Bhagavan can be many things. So Bhagavan is general name like God, Almighty. Bhagavan actually means Almighty. So, but we know, of course, he is the eternal associate of Srimati Radhika. So in this way, we can see somehow or other that, Gurudev is giving that in an understandable way for this man, these people. So now second question comes. What is the meaning of the word Srila when it prefixes the names of exalted personalities? The answer is, the word Srila is made up of two parts, Shri plus La. Shri has various meanings such as wealth, opulence, Lakshmi, Radhika, or even devotion to Vishnu. So that is a very important thing to know, how this word Shri has so many varieties of meanings. Even Bhakti itself can be called Shri. La, the verbal root, La plus Ra, means lo, means to accept, to bring, or to grant. Thus, those who accept Prema Bhakti as the ultimate wealth and opulence, and who thus devote themselves to the service of Srimati Radhika, who is the embodiment of all Lakshmis, or those who have obtained that wealth and opulence and are granting that unto others. Those associates of Bhagavan, who are Jagat Guru and Acharyas, are addressed with the title of Srila, prefixed to their names. So Srila is a very high title. It can only be used to those who are able to give Krishna Prema. Only those who are having that relationship with Radha and Krishna, they are having Prema Bhakti, and they can bestow Prema Bhakti. And they can bestow also Radha Dasyam, because they are already in that position. So these are the different first meanings of that. Usage of the verbal root la itself conveys existence in the present tense, means exist. Joining and proprietorship, adhikari. Thus, Srila is used before the names of those within whom Shri exists, which refers to Aishwarya and devotion to Vishnu. That is Prema Bhakti. In other words, it refers to those who are joined by or endowed with these treasures, or who are proprietors of them. Those who are like having Prema Bhakti, those who are able to give it, and those who are having spiritual Aishwarya, means spiritual opulence. They can offer you all types of sambandha, relationship with Krishna. So all of them, they will call Srila. Interpreted in the sense of la. No, sorry, I already read that.
No, you can continue from here, Maharaj.
Yeah, I didn't read that. Yeah, it's true. Interpreted in the sense of la, meaning existence, Srila is used to prefix names of persons who live eternally. Those exalted personalities who are endowed with Aishwarya, the wealth that is Prema Bhakti, never die. They live forever, means they are in the eternal present. You remember, existence in the present means they are existing in the eternal presence, means they are eternal. They are immortal, transcendental. Even after these glorious personalities have abandoned their organic bodies of 5 gross elements, they live on in the knowledge they share, their books and teachings. Thus, the title Srila is used in front of their names. Means those who have left behind their teachings, their legacy, which will also remain forever in this world, as books, as Harikatha, whatever. So they are called also Srila. So question number 3. How is it? I also have heard also different like interesting meaning for Srila, type of more, what to say, Bhavanuvad meanings. Sri means Radha, and La means Lali. Who is a Lali of Radha means who is the like a Kinkari of Srimati Radhika. He is also being called Sri. So now we come to the third question. How is it possible for Sri Gaudiya Vedanta and Bhakti Vedanta to have a mutual connection and synthesis? Bhakti sees Bhagavan, the personal aspect of God, to be everything, whereas Vedanta sees everything to be Brahma, the immanent or all-pervading transcendence and sum of all existence. So now you can understand that this man who is asking, he is thinking that Vedanta means only the Shankaracharya Vedanta, the Advaita Vedanta. Therefore, he cannot conceive that Vedanta can talk about bhakti, about worshipping Bhagavan. But therefore, in his mind, Gaudiya Vedanta is something which is not like, matching. Now Srila Gurudev is answering. Vedanta is the essence or pinnacle of the Vedas. Veda plus Anta means the summation of the Vedas. As the word Anta means essence or conclusion, head or end. The essence or conclusion of Veda, or the supreme truth taught by the Vedas, is Bhakti. Therefore, Bhakti itself is Vedanta. The word Vedanta refers exclusively to Bhakti, actually. Generally, people mistakenly use the word Vedanta to refer to jnana or knowledge. The knowledge they refer to is nirvishesha jnana, monistic knowledge. However, there is not even a single mention of the word jnana in the entire text of Vedanta Sutra composed by Vedavyas. The word Vedanta never refers to karma and jnana. Of all abhideya tattva, or the means to attain the ultimate goal, bhakti is supreme. Karma and jnana have no predominance. According to the conceptions of bhakti tattva preached by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nama Bhajan is the greatest form of worship, and the holy name is Krishna himself, the supreme personality of Godhead. Abhinnatvat nama namino. This is part of a verse which says, Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnam Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvam Namani. Means this name is transcendental. This name is Chintamani. It can fulfill all your desires. And it is not different from the Nami, means the possessor of the name itself. So this Srinam is the greatest object of worship, and chanting Srinam is alone the greatest form of worship. So interesting to notice, Nama is object of worship as well as the process of worshiping. Then this is a proof that how in bhakti everything is absolutely perfect and eternal. What does it mean? It means that if you practice jnana or karma, your practice and your perfection will be different. Means you are using some means to achieve your perfection, once you have achieved that perfection, you no longer need that process that you have used. But in bhakti is the opposite. Whatever is the process to attain perfection, that is also the activities that you're going to continue to do in the perfectional stage. So all the limbs of bhakti you are using for sadhana, they also practice in the perfectional stage. So nama itself is the process of sadhana, as well as the object of worship, and as well as the nitya, it is the eternal activity, the eternal engagement in bhakti. You always be chanting the holy names. You never give up it.
Nitya Dharma, maybe.
Nitya dharma, exactly. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. But the jnanis and karmis, they will chant the holy names. But their goal is not to continue to chant the holy names. Their goal is not to worship the holy names, but just to achieve a third type of, or a secondary type of goal desired by them. So in this way, this has been clearly elucidated in the Brahma Sutra, otherwise known as Vedanta Sutra. Two names are there. In the realm of philosophy, a premise should share the same purport as its conclusion. If the beginning and end do not convey the same verdict, the result is philosophical insubstantiality. What does it mean? If you start from a false premise, you cannot arrive in a truth, in an eternal truth. So the premise has to be truth, and the conclusion also has to be truth. So if they're not having the premise that bhakti is the essence of Vedanta, then whatever conclusion they will take about what Vedanta means, that will be wrong. Am I clear? Is that okay? Because the impersonalists or the Advaita Vedantists, they are not considering that the bhakti is the essence of Vedanta. For them, essence of Vedanta is what? To merge in the Brahma. Means this mukti, sayuja mukti, right? So sayuja mukti is not nitya mukti, it's not eternal liberation, cannot grant you liberation forever, cannot grant you perfection, as well as it's not the essence of the Vedas. It is not the means conclusion of the Vedas, so it's not Vedanta. The first statement of Brahma Sutra is Atattva Brahma Jigyasa, which asserts that Vedanta Sutra begins with an inquiry about Shabda Brahma. And the very last sutra is Anavriti Shabdat, Anavriti Shabdat, which conveys the repeated chanting, Avriti or Kirtan of Shabda Brahma, or Nama Brahma, the holy name, or the transcendental word, the transcendental sound. It is the only way to attain the alleviation of suffering within this material existence, means the cessation of the repeated cycle, and service to Bhagavan's lotus feet, that is, service to Nami Brahma, the absolute being whose holy name one is to chant. So the goal of Vedanta is to attain Nami Brahma, the possessor of the name, the possessor of the transcendental name. So we are chanting Nama Brahma. But this Nama Brahma is not Nirvishesha Brahma. This is Savishesha Brahma. It is full of qualities. This is a personality, and that is Bhagavan himself. In the very middle of the Vedanta Sutra as well, the following statement is found. Api samradhane pratyakshanumanabhyam. This indeed propounds aradhana, which means worship, referring to bhakti. Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural and genuine commentary on Sri Vedanta Sutra, reiterates this point about bhakti as well in 10:30:28. Anayaradi Todunam Bhagavam Harishwara. Surely this Gopi, Srimati Radhika, has truly worshipped Bhagavan Sri Hari, the supreme autocrat. Otherwise, why has Govinda left us all and only taken her with him? It is this Bhakti Vedanta that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, along with the Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas, who are his devout followers, preached and thus popularized as Gaudiya Vedanta. Gaudiya refers to the Rasika Vaishnavas, who are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The origin of this word is geographical, but it also refers to particular persons, and there are philosophical factors as well. So before we enter in this meaning of the Gaudiya, it's good to mention that Gaudiya Vedanta, in a ultimate sense, because it has many levels of understanding of Gaudiya Vedanta, but in the ultimate sense, Gaudiya Vedanta means Radha Dasya. Because Gaudiya means followers of Gaudi. Gaudi means Srimati Radhika. So to become a servant of Srimati Radhika, this is Vedanta. Okay, this is the conclusion, this is the essence of the Vedas. Veda is no different from Krishna, and Krishna wants everyone to be a servant of Srimati Radhika. We can see things also from this perspective. I remember Shripad Madhav Maharaj in Gaura Purnima, maybe 2-3 years ago. He was giving class in Devarana Gaudiya Math, and he was explaining what's the meaning of Vedanta. And he described one pastime in which the Manjaris are serving Srimati Radhika, and then Krishna is also desiring that service, and then he's begging from Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, how to also, be able to access and serve Srimati Radhika. So, in this way, we have this ultimate meaning of Gaudiya Vedanta. Now, let us come to the first factor. Geographical origins. In ancient times, Bharatvarsha, India, consisted of two major regions, Gaura and Dravida, or Dravida. Northern India was divided into 5 regions that were referred to as Pancha Gaura. While the south, divided into 5 regions as well, was called Pancha Dravida. During the Middle Ages, that is during Muslim rule, Bengal mainly began to be referred to as Gaura. At that time, Balala Sen and Lakshmana Sen were the rulers of that region, and the capital of the kingdom of Gaura was Navadvip or Nadia. In a later era, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented in that same land and preached the aforementioned Shuddha Bhakti as propounded by the Vedas, Vedanta, and the Puranas. Hence, the lineage of his followers came to be known as the Gaudiya Sampradaya, and their philosophy, Achincha Veda Veda Tattva, was called the Gaudiya Vedanta Darshan. Darshan means philosophy. Okay, the philosophy of Gaudiya Vedanta, that is called Achincha Veda Veda. Okay, so then you can have some very good idea of history as well, geography, to understand the origin of this name Gaura, Gaura Mandal, many things. So before it was like the whole upper part of India. If you divide India in half, the upper part, it was all called Gaura, divided into 5 regions. Later, due to so many political conflicts and divisions, that was limited only to the place we call like Bengal nowadays. So after that, then Nadia, the district of Nadia, in which Navadvip is situated, it became the capital. We know the story of Lakshmana Sen with Jayadeva Goswami Pad. He was ruling more than 100 years before Mahaprabhu appeared. So, like that. So, second factor. One of the names of Sri Madhvacharya, who was a disciple of Sri Vyasa in the Brahma Sampradaya, was Gaura Purnananda. Thus, the name Gaudiya Sampradaya refers both to the Madhva Sampradaya and to the Sri Chaitanya Sampradaya, a branch of Madhva's lineage. Both are Gaudiya. Third one, Shri Krishna alone is Rasa Swarup, the personification of Rasa, and the Rasika Churamani, the crown jewel of connoisseurs of that Rasa. He is the object of Rasa. It is he who dons the Aishwarya Jatiya mood and complexion of Sri Radha and manifests as Sri Gaura Sundar to relish the Aishwarya Jatiya Rasa. The Rasika Sampradaya that exclusively devoted to that Sri Gaura Sundar is named the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Its philosophy is referred to as Achincha Beda Beda Siddhanta, means the conclusive truth of simultaneous oneness and variegation. So, and it is called Gaudiya Vedanta or Gaudiya Darshan. This Gaudiya Vedanta is nothing else than Bhakti Darshan. Influenced by various misconceptions, people regard impersonal monism preached by Sri Shankaracharya to be the philosophy of Vedanta. It was to dispel this misconception that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate associate, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's devoted one-pointed follower, Om Vishnupada Stotra Sata, Srimad Srila Bhakti Pragyana, Keshava Goswami Maharaj, established Sri Gauriya Vedanta Samiti and added the name Bhakti Vedanta before the names of his Tridandi Sannyasis disciples. By this, he established the fact that Bhakti is itself Vedanta, the conclusive essence of Vedas. And the Gauriya Bhaktas, followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are the true Vedantists or knowers of Bhakti, the conclusive essence of Vedanta. So the one who knows Vedanta is known as Vedanti. So the real Vedantis are the Gaudiyas. They know exactly what is the meaning of Vedanta, because not only we are practicing Bhakti, but we are practicing the highest type of Bhakti. There is Bhakti also in other Sampradayas, Madhva Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya, Nimbarka Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, Ballabhacharya Sampradaya. Many Sampradayas are there, bona fides, but their Bhakti is not the topmost one. They are not in Madhura Ras, what to speak of being Parakya Ras, and what to speak of Radha Dasyam. So, and what to speak also of Achincha Beda Beda Tattva. You know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has corrected the Siddhanta of the four previous Vaishnava Sampradayas, which I mentioned now, regarding Jiva Tattva and Bhagavat Tattva, because their conception was not so, what to say, complete. It was partially complete. Like Sri Sampradaya, they had what to say, this specialized monism, Vishishta Dvaitavada. So it's not the same monism as the Mayavadis. Okay, we have to be able also to differentiate this. When we speak about monism in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, this is not as monism in Mayavada Sampradaya. Why? Because Mayavada Sampradaya is based in one concept which is called Vivartavada. Vivartavada is the conception of the illusion illusion created by Maya. For example, if you see a rope in the dark night on the ground, you may think it is a snake. So that illusion was imposed by your limited senses. So this Vivartavada is what Shankaracharya utilizes. But the monism utilized by the Vaishnava Sampradaya is based on Vastu Parinamavada, the different concept. Vastu Parinamavada means, Vastu means Krishna, Bhagavan, Narayana. Okay? Parinama means transformation. Means that all which exists, material world, the jivas, the shaktis, the avatars, whatever, is a transformation of Bhagavan's own body. Means Bhagavan becomes himself all these things. Apart from being himself also in a separate way, which will differ from the Mayavadi conception that everything is one. In this monism, Bhagavan remains in his individuality, but at the same time, he becomes everything else. Therefore, this is called Vastu Parinamavada. But what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this is not true, not correct, fully correct. The proper way, this is called Shakti Parinamavada. Shakti Parinamavada means everything is a transformation of Bhagavan's potencies, not of Bhagavan himself. So his Swarup Shakti divided into Bahiranga, Tathashta, and Antaranga Shaktis. They create everything, not Bhagavan himself. Okay? And then on top of that, Mahaprabhu established Achincha Beda Beda Tattva. Okay? So that is why Mahaprabhu, he's the Sumum Bonum, he's the topmost understanding of Vedanta, like the complete understanding of Vedanta. And we can say, you can see that along the history, Krishna, he will gradually give knowledge to the humanity, gradually. Everything will gradually be like progressing in a general way, what to say. No? Of course, there are Mahapurushas all the time. Narada Muni, he is there. From the beginning, he knows what is the highest Siddhanta as well. But in general, the populace, they are gradually evolving, you know, and Krishna is giving them knowledge piece by piece. How can we say that? We can go back to the time of Buddha, for example. So Buddha, what he had to do? He had to preach against Vedas, make people stop eating meat, stop killing the animals. So he had to bring everyone out of the Vedic culture, establish another tradition, which is called Buddhism, another religion. And later, Shankaracharya had to come and say, no, you must come back to Vedic culture, because Buddhism philosophy is same as Vedic culture, same as Vedanta. Because now people are already in a mood of goodness, right? So they can come back to Vedas. They're all vegetarian, following nice, everything properly. After they come back and they become Vedantists, but in a Mayavadi way, then come one after another, the Vaishnavacharyas. And they will convert all the Mayavadis into Vaishnavas. But still, the conception is not complete. Then comes Mahaprabhu, and he will give the highest understanding to everyone. We can see how things go like slowly, step by step. And perhaps I can say we maybe were there in the time of Buddha, in the time of Shankaracharya. Maybe we have incarnated, along this time. And gradually we got this conception, this understanding. I'm just saying it's maybe, okay? It's possible. So because things goes like in a progression. So the jivas who are receiving this knowledge, they must have been instructed previously in another lower level of knowledge, right? Because we are evolving. Our consciousness is evolving. Our understanding of Siddhanta is evolving. So therefore, Krishna makes everything easier, step by step, for everyone to come, to the topmost platform. So then this is for today. This is the end of this article. And let us stop here and continue next time. Hare Krishna.